Dr. Christine Igoe and Lisa Xagas have been spearheading the district's early childhood expansion and developing Naperville 203 as a leader in social emotional learning at all ages. Welcome, Christine and Lisa. Great to have you here. Why don't you begin by telling our audience what is SEL?
Sure, when we think about social emotional learning, we really think about kind of 5 big areas. We think about a child's ability to have some social awareness, to have some self-awareness, to be able to manage, to have some self-management skills, to make responsible decisions, as well as to build relationships with peers and adults.
Why are all those things so important?
You know, social emotional skills are critical to one's success at school, in the workplace, and at home. In fact, research tells us that adults who have well-established social and emotional skills perform better in life. And we know that when a student experiences a social emotional learning program at school, we could expect an 11 percentile point gain in their academic achievement as well. In fact, another recent study talked about a student's social emotional skills in kindergarten and the direct link when they had increased social emotional skills in kindergarten with lifetime outcomes. So they were more likely to graduate college and more likely to have a full-time job at age 25.
Well, thank you for hitting on those kindergarten students. When we think about that kindergarten readiness aspect, and one of the important parts of our early childhood program is that kindergarten readiness. What do our parents need to know about kindergarten readiness as it relates to social emotional learning skills?
Sure, when we think about what is it that we want our students to have when they enter kindergarten so that they can be successful, we really kind of hone in on the skills around self-regulation. And that's really a child's ability to manage their emotions, their thinking and their impulses, as well as their ability to manage their behaviors. So those are the most important skills. And those skills are something that we develop over a lifetime. So they don't really develop all at once, but we know that those foundational skills are really developed for kids between birth and age 5. So that's why we really spend some time focusing in on how can we build those skills.
When we think about early childhood, the Ann Reed Center, what does SEL look like in the classroom? How is it taught, and really, what does it look like?
Sure. That's a great question. And we have a very comprehensive social emotional learning program throughout the district, early childhood through grade 12. And part of that programming is this curriculum that we embed every day for students. And at the Early Childhood Center, there's about 8 to 10 minutes a day of explicit instruction on social emotional skills. That instruction includes read-alouds and puppets and songs, and they're getting that real clear direction on how do you manage your emotions, how do you make friendships with peers, and then throughout the rest of the week, they really have that embedded into playtime, and they're reinforcing the skills, so students have lots and lots of opportunities to practice.
So that integration of the social emotional learning skills as well as academic and learning skills is so important. Why? Tell us why. Why is that so important, that they're not just seen as something separate or apart?
It's really kind of the foundation. We often like to say those social emotional skills is the plate by which we build all other learning. So for our students really to engage in that deep academic learning that we would like, they have to have these social skills in place so that they can begin to collaborate with others, so that they can have conversations, so that they can agree and disagree on different things in ways that other people can hear what they have to say.
What do you think really motivated our district to really take an emphasis or take time to really focus on social emotional learning?
I think it stemmed from the community involvement with Focus 203 on what's important to our community, and we heard from the community that the whole child was critical. Plus, given all the research out there that supports the impact of social emotional learning on outcomes across the board for students as they are in school and then also as they enter adulthood, how could we not?
So we are, as we've talked about, fortunate to have our early childhood center. We also recognize we cannot serve all of the 3 to 5-year-old students in our community at Ann Reed. So we depend on partners. We also depend on parents as first teachers. What can SEL look like at home? How can parents support the learning of social emotional skills in order to be successful as they go into kindergarten?
Sure. When we think about what are those things that parents can really do, we really focus in on our parents really being a model for our students and being able to model some of those self-regulation skills, but also start by naming emotions for kids, whether it's the emotions they see in themselves, the emotions they see in their child, especially if there are other places for them to do that is if they're reading in a book or maybe watching a video, being able to really name those skills. Really also being able to develop some consistency in day-to-day activities so kids are knowing what to expect and how to expect it. So that helps them to learn how to regulate what they're supposed to be doing, as well as having parents really think out loud when they're frustrated or upset so that they can help their child understand what are some things that we can do.
I think I would add, it's really important to have realistic expectations as well. And 3-year-olds can't manage their emotions, and we're teaching them to do so. And by the end of kindergarten, we want them to be able to show those skills with teacher support. So for community providers and parents, we do have some resources available on our website. If you go to our website and under curriculum, go to social emotional learning, you can see both overviews which show what skills are we expecting students to perform at that 3 to 5 age level, and then also we have parent snapshots that indicate how parents can support and build these skills at home as well.
So I mentioned the recognition that we can't serve every child in the community at that early childhood age. So we depend on community partners as well as parents to be able to support kids in that early childhood time of learning. We've been focused on really trying to build an early childhood collaborative. What is that, and why is that important to the success of our school district long term?
Sure. So when we think about, like you said, we can't serve every single child, but we certainly want to make sure every child has a really strong quality early childhood experience. So we've developed an early childhood collaborative with some of our partners, like the Naperville Park District, the DuPage Children's Museum, Loaves and Fishes, our Naperville Police Department. And as a group, we come together and really think about how are ways that we can coordinate our services and put things in place for students. So some of the things that we'll be doing kind of upcoming is making sure every child birth to 5 has the opportunity to have a developmental screening, as well as providing some learning for teachers, all teachers, of early childhood, whether they work in our district or whether they work for a private early childhood company, to be able to build and understand SEL skills and how they work and ways that they can support kids' learning, and then being able to do that for parents as well, giving them some learning on our SEL coming up in the next couple months.
So we've invested a lot of time, resources into building our social emotional learning platform. What has been the greatest success so far since we've started this initiative?
I think it's been the impact on students and teachers. And we have heard from quite a few teachers that the students they got this year have stronger social and emotional skills than students they had received in previous years. And that students are helping their peers also manage their emotions. They're modeling belly breaths, and they're asking them to blow out the candles and take a breath. And when we see peers helping peers to learn those skills, then that to me is a success.
Christine, what's your greatest success?
I think really building off of those same things is watching our students really be able to name some of the things that we're teaching and actually be able to say, this is a skill that I have that I know I can use to calm myself down. I was in kindergarten not that long ago and watching 3 or 4 kids really be able to say, I'm upset, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. That was really exciting.
Where's an area we need to get better? What's next steps?
I think we need to continue to make sure that we're bringing in our community and our families so that they know too, how can you model and show this to your students at home? And we have made a few attempts at outreach, but I think we can continue to grow in that area.
Yeah, I think that's a great place for us to think about how we partner with our community, as they're such a vital part of who we are and what our success is. I'd like to thank Christine and Lisa. Up next, we'll learn more about our expanding early childhood programming and how we support our very youngest learners.